This activity. All right. So, first part of this good stories, we talked about innovation and creativity. And one thing that was very striking was the fact that as beautiful and as interesting innovation is, execution is actually the backbone. That's what gives it its substance. And that's what makes it valuable in the long run. And hence the need for this next topic, business execution. We painted a scenario whereby a lot of times as the new year begins, everybody is energetic, drawing out beautiful plans and flow charts for the year. And it turns out that over the long run, many of those plans and beautiful diagrams are not executed for several reasons. We want to explore those reasons, explore strategies that can help us do better this year, and see what are other factors that we can make use of to ensure that we execute better in our businesses. All right, so I will introduce our facilitator and then go on to start asking him questions. So our facilitator is Mr. Solomon Adesoji. Please forgive me, I'm not Yoruba. Your other name is a bit difficult, so that I don't murder you.
Jekayefa is the name.
Okay, Jekayefa. I hope I tried.
Yeah, you do.
All right, thank you so much, sir. It's great to have him on board. I noted earlier he's the CEO of Solomay Ventures, and he offers several geo services ranging from mineral and natural resource exploration to providing technical solutions in the geoservice industry. He is one person who has led several business projects, both large scale and small scale businesses, and he's also someone who is very, very driven with regards to his personal development. Please, can you, how do we do this now? We would like to welcome you to the platform, Mr. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, a lot better. Yes, I can see you as well. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, so I'll just get in with it. So I'll be asking questions which are guide questions, and with that, we hope to garner knowledge from your experience and other business knowledge that you would love to pass across. So I will go to the first question. I'm going to be framing the questions in such a way that, like as though someone is asking them, because that way I know then it becomes relatable to our business audience. All right, so my first question is this. I know execution is important for my business, but how do I implement my plans with little or scarce resources at my disposal in terms of time, in terms of personnel? I'm probably a solopreneur who is just starting out in business. So how do I implement all these beautiful things that I think will be essential for moving my business to the next stage?
All right, thank you. I can call you Anointing, right?
Yes, that's cool, sir.
All right, thank you, Anointing, for having me. Yeah, your question, executing my strategies and plan in scarcity of resources. You know, for for entrepreneurs that has gone through maybe BEP training, the basic entrepreneurship program of One Foundation, one of the things you know is that for you to be an entrepreneur, the most important factor is your skills, personally. How skillful are you in the field of your business? Now, if I don't have resources, many a times we talk about the fact that I want business, but there's no money to establish the business. Even if you don't have money, the first thing you need for you to establish your business is your skills or your expertise. So if I have expertise in maybe sewing clothes, and my goal, I set out to at least sew 10 clothes this year at
Hello, sir. I think I just lost him. Okay, he's still around.
Are we there?
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't know what happened. I just got logged out.
Sorry, sir. All right, it's
Okay,
fine.
so like I was saying, it's your skill that really matters. What you're selling is your expertise. It's not the resources you want to market to your customers. So for you to execute your plans, you must be skillful in yourself. And you don't use part of your resources are your personnel, your team. So if you don't have a team, the first thing you sell, the first thing you use in executing your plan is your personal skill, what you know how to do with your hands, with your knowledge of one area or the other of the business. So if you don't have resources, if you don't have enough resources to expand, you must own your skill. You know, there are one of the ways, one of the things we learned during the because I was part of the basic entrepreneurship training, is that you can use your skill, you can outsource your skill for established companies. I can't stand on my own, but there are people that have already established that I can go and market my skills to them and use that to establish a name for myself in the industry. So if you don't have the resources, your skill is very important. How skillful are you? Your expertise is what you use to execute your plan. I hope I've been able to justify it. Or do you want me to put in some experience, show
I
you?
would really love that. I would really love that. That's
When
the essence of all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Before I started my company in 2018, I was with one of the professors at the Department of Geology, University of Ibadan, as an intern. So
Okay,
what
sir.
I do is, okay, I'm a geophysicist, so I know how to carry out geophysical investigations, but I don't have a business of my own. I am not registered. I don't have a platform for me to market my skills. So what I did was to stay under the professor. And whenever I get a contract, I act as the project manager. I use my
Okay.
skills. I execute the project, and then I give him the result. He submits it to his client, and he collects the money. And if he's willing, he gives me something. But by going as a project manager for him, using my skills on his platform, I was creating connection for myself.
Mm.
I was making a name for myself. I was getting known. I was also getting necessary experiences that I would need for when my business is standing on its own. So that is why I said
Hello.
it's more important that your
Sorry, I
expertise is
think we just
key
have
for you to
a
establish
glitch.
your
Okay,
skills.
we lost you for a while, sir. Maybe for like 30 seconds. Sorry.
Oh, so sorry. Can
Yeah,
you hear
that's
me
it.
now?
Yes, it's better now.
Did you get what I said, or I should go right again?
Please go over it again.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was saying something about your expertise. And I was sharing an experience of the fact that when I started out as a geophysicist, I didn't have a company of my own. I didn't have a team of my own. So I joined myself to a professor at the University of Ibadan who has a platform. And there I was able to use my skills to act as a project manager and project coordinator for him. I am not directly his staff, but I was able to use my expertise to work on their team. And leading the team there, I was able to make myself known in the industry. I've traveled almost every part of the country as a geophysicist. So I've been able to develop my experiences. I've been able to show my expertise in the area of geophysics, geoservices. So that's what I was saying, that even if you don't have the platform, you have the resources to put yourself out there. Join yourself to a team that is established and use your expertise to make yourself known.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I think one critical thing I picked there was never actually feel like you don't have anything. You have something, and you need to start with those little you have, and then move up to where you can grow others or grow other resources. Thank you so much for that experience. All right. So the second question I have, I've implemented several plans in the past to improve my sales and revenue. I think they are working, but I don't know how to be sure I'm actually making a difference. So it's more like I'm doing several things, but how can I actually be certain that the plans I'm implementing is actually meeting the goals I want it to meet? I don't know if that's clear. Do you have a similar problem, and how did you deal with that problem?
Okay, if I get the question very well, You have already goals, and then you are already executing them.
Yes, sir.
But you want to be sure whether the goals are achieving your aim. I mean, whether you're
Yes.
achieving your aim by the execution.
Oh, our network today is awesome.
Are we together?
We lost you for quite some time, sir. Maybe close to 45 minutes, 45 seconds rather.
Wow.
I'm sorry. You are about to answer the question. You hadn't started after you clarified it.
Well, maybe I should just put off my video so that this
Okay,
the
that's fine.
bandwidth can be conserved. Anyway,
All right.
what I was saying is that you see, as an entrepreneur in business, you must understand that you need project management skills. Now, in project management, you understand that when you set out goals, you must have milestones. And these milestones for each of your tasks is for you to be able to cross-check whether you're achieving your desired goals.
Mm.
These milestones, whenever you cross a milestone, it means that, okay, the execution that we have been doing in the past, maybe 1/4 of the year, has yielded this particular result. We tick it off as a milestone. So if you say that you are executing some of your plans and you wanted to be sure whether you are achieving your desired aim, what are your milestones? For instance, we set out that for our business, we want to acquire a particular equipment before the first quarter of 2020. This equipment was going to cost about 600,000. And we have desired that we need to have it because we are expecting to sign up for a contract by the end of July. I hope you are getting me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there is a need for us to get more income from our businesses for us to be able to get that equipment on time. So what do we do? What are the plans for us to raise that fund? We've decided that, okay, we need to speak to some investors. So the first thing we did was divide ourselves into teams. A particular team is going to go into
Hello,
stone.
sir. Oh, I'm sorry. We lost you for some seconds. Uh, you had already described how that. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, you were going to meet some investors. That's where I think we
Yeah.
lost you.
So the milestone will be how, number one, have we met with investors? So meeting with investors. At the end of the meeting with investors, that means we have already crossed a milestone. Number one, we said we want to do aggressive marketing. What are the plans to do this marketing? Are we going to use social media marketing? Are we going to do door-to-door marketing? Okay, so once the marketing teams have done one of the, maybe they have paid for promotions on Facebook or YouTube, that is also a milestone. And then we now sit back and say, okay, we've done marketing, we've met with investors. What are the results we got from those two meetings? What are the results from our promotion on social media? Are we getting likes and comments? Are we getting clicking on our links? And are we getting more patronage? What are the comments from the investors? Are they interested in financing the project? Now, this is an example of how we cross-check whether our effort has yielded desired result. So when we look at the feedbacks we got from the execution we have done so far, we look at if this our goal. Is it going to help us to achieve our goals? That is how we know whether our execution has yielded the desired result or not. So if you set out with a goal and you're executing it and you don't have milestones to cross-check whether your execution so far is yielding desired result, then you haven't done well. So in execution, you must have milestones before you reach your major target. So whatever you have planned to do, you must have intermittent results that will show to you that whatever plan you are executing is yielding the desired result or is going towards the great picture of achieving your total aim at the end of the time you have allotted for it. I don't know whether that's clear. You have more questions?
Yes, it's clear. I think you said something slightly as you're giving that example. You talked about going as in evaluating your milestones in that sense. So like a milestone serve as your feedback to see whether you're actually working towards your goals. Can you talk about that a bit in terms of as you cross those milestones, you actually evaluate them? Because many times a lot of people experience challenges and yes, they may not be meeting those milestones, but the discouragement or the feeling frustrated that you're not meeting those milestones, they don't tend to now sit down and evaluate things again. Is that important and how frequently should that be? I mean, evaluating the milestones. Like you talked about it.
The purpose of your milestone in the first place is for evaluation, to know whether you're actually on the right track. So if we got to the milestone, whatever makes you to even tick your milestones means that you are getting desired results. If you are not getting the desired results, you won't be able to achieve the milestone. The milestone is like achieving a particular desire. Okay, we set out to get money for the investors, right? The investors saying yes to the proposal is milestone achieved. Don't forget that is not the end of our project that we are executing. The end is for us to acquire a particular equipment for us to be able to fit in for a contract. I hope we are on the same page.
Yes.
Now, however, before we get to the point of getting the equipment, getting the investors token is a milestone. If the milestone is successful, then we go over to the bigger picture of getting the equipment. However, the point of the milestone, if peradventure the investors say no, what we need to do at the point of evaluation, like you said, is to look at what went wrong. Was it the proposal we presented that was not good enough? We now have to go back to the drawing board and develop new strategies to be able to achieve that same milestone of getting the fund to acquire the equipment. So what the milestone helps you to do is to know whether the plans you are executing is going the right way, or you need to go back to your drawing board and
For the network reach. Mr. Solomon.
I'm here with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, sir. We're not hearing you again. I think the last thing you said was this helps us to know whether your plans that are being executed are going the right way. So after then we lost you.
Yeah, that was where I was going. I said the milestone, you execute whether your plan is going well, or you have to go back to the drawing board and strategize.
All right, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I also wanted to ask, how do we measure the success of the business projects? We set out to do something. How do we tend to measure if you're succeeding? I know you've talked a bit about it, but if you could just elaborate a bit more.
Yeah, how do we measure the success of our project? Whether we are it's the same thing we are talking about, this issue of milestones, this issue of intermittent results. So for us to be able to measure the success of, we must break it into stages, into phases. Okay, let me diverse from entrepreneurship and businesses into research. Sorry, I'm a scholar, so it's one of the things I do.
Yes, sir.
So let's take, for instance, my PhD project then. My PhD project was divided into 3 phases. We have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now, the result in phase 1 is needed for phase 2 to be executed, and the combined result of phase 1 and phase 2 is needed for phase 3 to be executed. I hope you are with me.
Yes, sir.
So if phase 1 is not successful, there is no way phase 2 will succeed. So At the end of phase one, that means we are making progress. Then we can move on to phase two. But if phase one is not working, then we have to go back and redo it in a better way. You have to use different strategy from the one that failed. For instance, you are probably a fashion designer. Are you with me?
Yes, sir, I'm with you.
Okay. You're probably a fashion designer and you want to expand your outlet, maybe increase the number of sewing machines you have and increase the number of staffs you have. And then you set out to say, okay, every two months, we will get at least one machine from the proceeds of the business. So that at the end of 10 months, we'll have gotten 5 machines. But as the 2-month deadline comes, you find out that you have not made enough profit for you to take out of it and get new machines, taking into consideration that you have to pay maybe electricity bills and other running costs, but there is not enough finances to buy the machine after the first 2 months. What is the problem? We're not getting enough patronage. Or one of the staff is taking longer to sew a wedding gown. Wedding gown that was supposed to be delivered in 2 weeks, she did it in 1 month, which means that she cannot do another wedding gown. Maybe she's supposed to do, I hope you are getting my steps.
I'm following you, sir. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're supposed to do 4 wedding gowns in 2 months, but you're doing 2 wedding gowns because the staff is wasting your time. It's wasting time on a single wedding gown. So the profit is not enough for you to execute your plan of getting next machine. So what you do at that point is you go back and strategize. Okay, do I need to change my staff and move the staff to another department? Maybe he or she should be sewing trousers, not wedding gown. Put somebody that can do it faster in the position. Or do I have to step in myself and do it? Or do we need to do what? Do we need to look for fund in another way, apart from the money proceed coming from sewing? Do we need to get a loan to finance the machine? I don't know whether you're getting my point.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now that is exactly what our plan and our execution should look like. We must be sure that we are able to deliver on our plan. If we are not, we go back, sit down, look at the factors that is contributing to the failure and see how we can remove it out of the picture. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
What's wrong with my network? It's really, I don't know whether it's mine or it's general. I don't know.
So, or work with it though. All right, I think that was explicitly going back to those milestones again, how essential it is to have those milestones and then evaluating them periodically. And I think your comments just leads me to the next question. Let me still use the example of this tailor that you started illustrating with. So I'm a tailor, I sew clothes, I sell online as well. And that's advertise online my product or wares. And it takes me quite some time to even get those materials ready, probably because I don't have my own machine yet, so I have to work with somebody else. Now, all of that are just regular constraints to just keep my business afloat. So I have to deal with all those challenges that come alongside. So how am I now? Okay, so this is the question. So I have several beautiful goals this year after planning. However, I've noticed that there is little time to implement them because I'm literally struggling to keep my business just afloat. What happens to you, and how did you sustain your normal business plans and still go ahead to innovating and executing those plans that you have actually thought about or planned about? Is the question clear, sir?
Yeah, you said there's little time to implement.
Yes, because I don't even have enough time to even keep my business afloat, let alone say I want to go and do something extra that would maybe increase sales or help build my employees, build their capacities as employees. So how do I manage just normal day-to-day running of my business and still get to implement or execute all those other beautiful plans I have, that I think that if I actually get to implement them, my business will be a lot better than what it is. I hope it's clear,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, it's very clear.
All right.
And you want me to use my experience, right?
Yes, please go ahead. That's the
Okay.
point.
All right. So you have your goals. For me, I'm a geoscientist. So one of the things we do, I do geophysical surveys. And geophysical surveys means going to sites, carrying out the survey, and going back to the office, interpreting it and creating reports for the client. Now, I drive my team to site whenever we want to go to the site. I hope we're on the same page.
Yes, sir.
Now, what I'm actually driving at is about outsourcing and having the right team to work with. In order for you to be able to keep your business afloat and manage your time effectively, you can't do everything.
Sorry again. This is just a great day for networks to play us very fast one.
We have like
Okay. All right. So we have you back. We have you back. You were just about explaining how you can maximize your team. That's where we lost. Mr. Solomon, can you hear us, sir? Hello, sir.
I'm being logged out. I don't know why. Are you with me?
Now we are. We lost you.
I was logged out. I was rejoining again. I don't know why I was being logged out.
Sorry about
So
that.
what I was saying is that, let's say I have 3 sites to go, and if I have to drive my team to the site, execute our project there, and then I have to drive to 3 sites, my efficiency as a human being will reduce. I will become tired, right?
Yes,
By
sir.
driving and then going to the site and carrying out the service. So what we do is we outsource the driving. The hire, instead of using maybe the company's car now, we use a third-party vehicle. Let the person convey us to the site. We do our work, we sit in the comfort of the car, the person drives to the next site. We have outsourced the work to an efficient driver using an efficient vehicle. For any business, if you believe there is little time for you to execute all your beautiful plans, it means you are not outsourcing enough. It means you don't have the right hand or you don't have enough hand. Are we together?
Hello, sir.
Are we together?
Now we are, sir.
What was the last thing you had?
You're in a third-party vehicle and you don't have
Okay,
to
I said,
drive.
if you are having problem with timing, it means you are not outsourcing enough. Maybe you are trying to do everything yourself. You must learn to sell. I've I've noticed some tailors these days that I don't know what they call those designs they put on the natives. They don't do it themselves again. Once they sold the native, they outsource the designing to somebody else. By the time that person is doing the designing, they are already fixing the next person's clothes. In that way, they are able to do more turnover, more clothes per time. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So outsourcing helps, and then working with the right team. Like I was telling you, we do geophysical survey, and then it's not everybody that knows how to do it. If you don't train your team members very well, the survey that could take 2 hours, I have experienced a situation whereby the survey that's supposed to take 2 hours was taking us 6 hours because we didn't have the right personnel to work with us. Team, you must train your team where necessary for them to be able to deliver your goals for you. So if you have beautiful goals and you don't have enough time,
Hello?
I hope that's clear. Did you get that?
No, the last thing you said, if you have beautiful goals, you don't have enough time. We didn't hear you after that.
I said you should outsource it.
Okay, all right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you very much for your illustration. Can I add that I appreciate the illustration in terms of working with a team already, but a lot of entrepreneurs we have to deal with are solopreneurs. They work alone, work from home, are starting out and all. What if they have this? Okay, let me give you an example, a very beautiful example. We very recently, the Tony Elumelu Foundation grant application just closed. That's the entry phase, the application part. Now, imagine somebody who is a solopreneur, like he's doing all the business himself. He ranging from product development to distribution and all of that. And that's now he obviously has challenges getting funds and applying for this what they call it for this application would obviously move the needle if he gets it. But you realize that yes, doing his business alongside applying for the application and actually staying the course for the application is going to be a lot demanding. Now, someone in that kind of situation, like in this example I've painted, how does this person overcome all this juggle or both the fact that you're keeping your business afloat, otherwise you don't even have a business in the first place, and then trying to now execute something or a strategy that you think if that actually works out, your business is going to the next stage, no doubt. Do you get my question, sir?
Yeah, I got your question.
Yes.
You don't have a team, you are working alone.
Yes, sir.
Does that stop you from outsourcing? Now I'm asking a question back. Does that stop
Uh,
you from outsourcing it?
yes and no. Yes, if I feel finance is a constraint and outsourcing is going to be extra cost, and I can't see the benefits, the extra benefits.
Now you see, there is no magic in doing business actually. Is whatever it takes, you have to do what it's asking for. You want to focus on your business and you want to apply. As a matter of fact, even if you have time to apply, what makes you think you are very good in writing proposals that can win applications?
Mm,
If you don't have the skills, you still need to outsource.
mm,
However, the level of outsourcing may just be reduced. Maybe you may not outsource the entire process, but the core part, and then you put the rest together.
mm.
But if you don't have the time, there are I think there are a lot of professionals out there that their business is just writing proposals for you.
Yes,
I
sir.
was applying for grants for my business during the COVID-19. The person that wrote the proposal for me is one a very fantastic accountant in Port Harcourt, who I met through a friend that works in Port Harcourt. And I just sent my company details and then wrote a proposal for me based on the details I supplied and sent me back the finished product. And I won the grant. The company won the grant. I didn't really have the time, but I don't even have the expertise to meet the demand of the application. But by
Mm,
outsourcing it, we were able to deliver pronto, and then we got the grant. And apart from that, there are those that don't charge you money for outsourcing. What they do is that if it succeeds, if you get it, you give them a percentage. There are so many, very different models out there you can key into. Excuse of not having time will not play a part in that. Because
mm,
if you don't have the time, there are people that have the time that you just need to contact them and they do it for you.
mm.
So that's why networking is also important. So outsourcing, networking, even in the absence of a team, networking creates a team for you by proxy. Well, that's what
Mm.
networking does for you. So you have team by network. And even if you don't have the network, you have to outsource. So you either pay for it or you do it by network. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, sir. I think the punchline was networking creates a team for you by proxy. Thank you. Now, amidst all the others you mentioned, that would make this help me to execute how that most businesses can apply and would actually help them move the needle in terms of execution. You can unmute yourself, sir.
I've lost you there. Can you come
Oh,
back again?
all right, sir. I said, quickly, can you, I know you've talked about several strategies, but what one important strategy do you think um, I can apply this year that would help me execute so much more than I have done in previous years? Just one that you think is really, really essential amidst all the ones we've discussed today.
One that is, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
One thing that is very important to every entrepreneur is personal development, training, adding to your skills. You know there is no end to learning, and we can execute better if we know better. And the way things were done 10 years ago are not the way they are done now. For instance, you will see that barbing salons have shifted from using generator in the absence of electricity to using inverters.
Yes, sir.
That is exactly what training, development, that's what it does. So if a strategy for you to execute better, what you need to do is to get the right training. Even if it will cost you your time and your money, but you will be better for it. One of the skills I will recommend for any entrepreneur is project management skills. You must learn it. If you want to be good in execution, you must learn project management. There are very many courses you can take on project management. You need to learn new skills. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes. But you said if I give us two, project management and personal development, adding value to yourself. Thank you so much. All right. So I wanted to ask what tools, okay, this is both I want to make this question both digital and maybe soft tools, depending on what I just want to really drive it home. So what tools do you think I can have in my space that can help me speed up executions of projects, business projects, and all? So they can be digital tools, they can be physical tools. What tools do you think, if I had in my space, would make execution faster, maybe seamless, if you can't describe it as that?
Okay. So for execution generally, for every of the tool I've been mentioning, you can either do it physically, you can use digital, or you can use analog. Number one, let's talk about the team that I want to work with. Remember when we established being a form of team by proxy. Now you can network through the social media, right? You can
Yes,
have
sir.
people, if you have a product you are sharing online, you can have people in your network reshare it on their platforms. And then in that way, you create something that will be trending. So your team is key. Teamwork is key. And then you need to educate that team. Education is another tool. You
Okay,
must
sir.
be educated, and your team must also be educated. And then you must have a working model, a strategy,
Okay.
template for your plans. You know, for you to execute anything, you must have a plan for your execution. And that is why you must be project management savvy. In the case whereby you can go online these days and get many business models by on Google or something. And then, okay, this is the model, this is the project I want to build, and this is the model I want to use to execute. And then you will find some digital tools that you'll be able to apply in order for you to execute those things. Now, for me, for geophysicists like us, we work with, are we together?
Yes, sir.
We work with software for processing and interpreting our data. And start
Yes, sir.
using. Are we
All right.
together? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Now I
Uh,
can.
oh, sorry. So, and then apart from that, you must know your market. Understanding the market is another tool. You know, how you are going to execute your project to literate people is going to be different from how you are supposed to do it for learned people. I will not, I will probably not use the same model. I will not execute a project to a professor the way I will do it to a market woman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to be different, right?
Yes, sir.
And so one of the thing tool you need is to understand. All these fall under education itself. So if you check online, they will talk about SWOT analysis, you know your strengths, your weaknesses. These are all under training. Having the right training is the most important tool. So your team is a tool, the model you're going to be working with, and then understanding your target audience. So these are the necessary requirements for you to do your execution. Because whoever you are delivering your product to, wherever you are delivering your service to, also determines how you execute it. Especially if you are, let's say for instance now, you are in the hospitality business, you are running a hotel or eatery. You know, there are mama puts and then there is eatery. What
Yes, sir.
differs, what the difference is just the packaging, right? The way
Yes, sir.
the outlook. So they know I want to be selling to the elite. So I won't go and put fan where I'm supposed to put AC. Those little ways of, all they are both doing is selling food, right? But the way
Yes,
they
sir.
sell the food, how they're executing their selling is different.
Yes, sir.
So for you as well, I don't want to be mentioning businesses name, but just look at a fast food restaurant. The way they will train their staff, their team, is different from how Yakoyo will train their team.
Yes,
The
sir.
way they will serve you food in Yakoyo is different from how those fast food will do it. The team packaging is different. Their model of business is different. As a matter of fact, there is no date. Domino's now, before you buy pizza from them, you will collect your phone number you with spam messages of the product that they are selling next week. That's how they do it. But nobody cares about your phone number when you go and buy a Malaska. Their way of reaching out is different. But they are both making their profit and the business is growing.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I did justice to that.
You did, you did, sir. Thank you very much. All right, I think I'll just train one final question and we'll ask if there are any questions from the audience and we'll wrap this up quickly. I know you also have somewhere to be. Thank you so much. All right, so I think this is one challenge I have seen, especially with the uprise of social media and digital marketing and the likes. So I'll just give an example in that respect. So I keep hearing test your plans and double up on what works. Now let's assume that there are several outcomes. Okay, maybe I have a marketing strategy and okay, using social media marketing as one platform to market my goods. I know that okay, there is that's engagement of our products or our digital outlook on social media. Then there is also that point where we actually connect to the customers, and then apart from connecting with them, then there's also that point where they actually buy our products and services. Now, I wanted to ask, now these are different steps of one plan to increase the bottom line, which is our profit margin. So now, how do I know what to actually measure? Because in the long run, the eventual goal is actually getting the customers to buy. But in the short term, you can't have that because your business is still growing. You're still trying to educate your customers about what you do. You're still trying to engage them and all of that. So how do you know if in the long run, what you are doing actually will get you to where you want to get to? Do you understand, sir? Am I clear or I'm still very vague?
Yeah. Well, let me see what I get out. It's the same thing as how do I measure my success?
Okay.
I mean,
Not really measuring per se. It's more or less like strategy will eventually work for all those strategies that have their outcomes are pretty much in the long run. Do you understand, sir? Like, how do I know which of the strategies I'm applying now? Okay, eventually I want the customers to buy. But the strategy I'm using now is getting me likes, getting me engagement. But in the long run, how am I sure that likes and engagement, I'll be able to convert them to actual paying customers?
okay, like that is if you are on social media and then you are
Yes.
getting followers and okay, that's good. Now, one answer that I have that is primary for this is to learn from others.
Okay.
Learn from others. Now, don't forget that there is really nothing you are doing that somebody has not done somewhere.
That's true, sir.
You said?
That's true, sir.
Even if it is not directly related, you are both using the same platform anyway. So somebody must have done something similar to what you are doing. And these days, you understand that once majority of the people are on the platform, whatever information that comes from that platform seems genuine. Somebody that has 3,000 followers will influence more than somebody that has 500 followers. So
Yes, sir.
even if as at now, you are not getting results, you know that one day, for instance, you see most of our celebrities that are pushing for followers. They know that on YouTube, once you get to a particular number of followers or subscribers, YouTube start paying you. The strategy you are looking at, you want to use, look at somebody that has done it before, that has even reached the peak of it. What was the return for that person? How can I copy that for my model, for my own business? If I'm getting followers now, people that have had millions of followers, what benefit are they deriving from it for their business? Can I also copy it? Is it hopeful that the same thing will work for me if I follow this template? For instance, for our own business now, social media is not really the thing, because most of the customers that are interested in geophysical investigation, geoservices, they are not on social media. So if I spend money, which I've done, if we spend money on social media, you will not get anybody that is interested in your work per se. What works is one-on-one interaction, going to the site, meeting with people, because it's not a business that works on social media. It's not like selling goods or imported products. So you need to look at the template of existing businesses that have used the same strategy you are using, and then see what result they get from it. Now, one good thing you can do is that you can do hybriding. You can hybrid different models from different businesses and join it together to create a new model that will work for you. Somebody use this strategy, another person uses this strategy. If I bring it together, I can create a new strategy that will combine the two results from those two people. I don't know whether you are getting something out of what I'm saying.
Hello, sir. Mr. Solomon, we've lost you again, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Where was the last time what was the last thing you did?
You were talking about attempting hybriding strategies.
Yes, we can bring two strategies together. Don't forget that each strategy is supposed to have its own results. By combining two strategies, we probably will have two results that is going to be better than using one strategy. So for this particular plan of mine that I want to execute, what is very important is those plans. What are the historical values from those plans? What have people that use the same plan derived before? How profitable was it for the people that have used it before? Then how can that work for my business? Even if the business they use it for is not the same as mine. So we learn from the experience of others in this particular case. I hope I've been able to answer your question. Or if you
Yes,
need more clarity, I will
a
try
whole
and do
lot.
justice to it.
I think I got a lot of value. I want to say a very big thank you, sirs. I don't know if there's somebody in the audience that has a question you want to ask our facilitator quickly, and I hope something from the different questions that were asked, because I really touched on a lot of things. So are there questions? You can unmute yourself and okay. Should I safely say that there are no questions? And we understood everything, but did not understand anything at all. All right. I got so much value from interacting with you. So I want to say a very big thank you to you from One Foundation. Thank you for taking out this time to share your knowledge with us. It was very, very insightful. It was very, very insightful. I think one very major takeaway is to learn to delegate and outsource what is not your strength. That's like you gave the example of winning that grant. That was a high point for me. So I think I'm learning. I need to also imbibe that capacity of that knowledge of outsourcing. Once you know this is not your strength, just outsource it and make progress rather than get stuck at it. I really want to say, okay, okay. I think at this point, I can safely say a very big thank you, sir, from One Foundation. Thank you from the community leads and from the leaders at One Foundation. I want to say we are grateful for your time. Thank you for taking our time to really share and impart value. Thank you very, very much, sir. And I hope when next we call on you to engage you again, we'll be able to have you as you did now, sir. Mr. Solomon, did I lose him?
Sorry,
Hello, sir.
my network again.
I'm very sorry. I was saying thank you, very big thank you from One Foundation. Thank you also from One Community. Once we are grateful for taking out time to speak and engage with us. We know that it was a big sacrifice on your behalf, and we hope also that when next we have the chance to call you also to do something of this nature, you'll be available, sir.
We'll try and do our best.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir.